G'day, I just wanted to talk about the recent expansion of the free public transport within Victoria, followed up by the half price till the end of the year, and what that ultimately means for farmers. Just to get it out of the way, the reason why the government is doing this, and to me it makes complete utter sense, is they're essentially trying to get like as many people as they can within Melbourne to basically hop onto trains, buses, trams, and whatever, so that way it will free up a whole bunch of fuel supply, like within the bush. By that I mean, like half of Victoria's population lives, and don't quote me on like the half. Roughly half of Victoria's population lives within Melbourne. Could be more, could be less, but general rule. And a lot of people live close enough to a tram line where, if it's incentivized, it is convenient enough for them to like utilize like the buses and trains and whatever. But of course, if it's not incentivized, why should they? Um, so they're trying to get like these people who might otherwise not use public transport to hop onto public transport. And if they're saving 30 litres a week per person, some cars use more, some cars use less. Then that's great, because that's 30 litres one person multiplied by 10 people. You've already got 300 litres. That 300 litres could then go into like a big farmer's tank, and it could fill up about half a tank or whatever. I'm actually not too sure exactly how much tank a tractor has. And essentially what the government's trying to do with this is they're trying to go, fuck it, like incentivize as many people as we can, to hopefully make like the fuel supply a lot more, manageable. So like there's a lot more fuel to go around because people aren't taking up as much. Hopefully that fuel price, hopefully that fuel then sort of makes its way to regional Victoria, and if it doesn't, hopefully because there isn't as much of a demand, the price will stay fucking like lower. It will stay lower, even though it's still gonna be high as fuck with this war. And hopefully that will make things easier on farmers. Of course, just supply and demand, less people using it, more farmers are able to, pump fucking money and fuel into the diesel and pump more diesel into their tractors. And if a large portion of Victoria does do this, then it could mean that instead of having fucking 30 days worth of fuel, we have 31 days. And it, keeps like farmers filled up for a little bit longer. Which is great, and it makes a lot of sense why the government's doing that. There are a few issues though. So this, apparently according to Google, when I googled this, it costs roughly 216 million, or it could be 250 million. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Like 250 to 216 million per month, just to like run the PTV, to run public transport within Victoria. And of course, it being free for the last couple of months means there's no revenue actually being drawn in from like people like hopping on with their markies and things like that. And then apparently per year, like the markie only makes enough to like cover like 800 million or something like that, or 200 or something million. I'm not actually too sure, but a large portion of like the money that comes from the markie is sort of lost. It's more of a lost leader. And because like it is free, it's gonna be half price for like another 7 months. June, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We're only realistically getting 3.5 months of normal revenue, because 7 months of half is the equivalent of 3.5 months of full revenue, sort of thing. I don't know if there's going to be incentive though for people to more hop on, if they may actually make some of that up. But either way, it's going to sort of increase the state's debt, which of course horrible for long term. But at the moment, our purpose is just try to fucking keep like farmers, fueled up. Of course, if the government wanted to cut debts and things like that, it just make things a lot harder and things like that. They'd have to go full austerity, which is pretty much cut all services, which I don't think they really want to do. That itself requires a lot of planning and a lot of stress for people, and people are already undergoing a lot of stress as it is at the moment. Anyway, so it's going to probably increase the state debt, which is kind of terrifying. To those people who drive utes and things like that, and to construction workers, completely get where you come from. Like, what's this doing for you? It's not doing much, and like it's not really supposed to target the everyday person. It's supposed to sort of target those people that like are pumping in like hundreds of liters at a time, like farmers and trucking companies as well, and people that are really utilizing the tolls. And again, for you or it's not going to do much at all. But overall, on like a larger term, hopefully having this public transport being free should hopefully help, with the supply levels to sort of keep it at a cheaper price than otherwise. That being said, it's also helping everyone that like works in an office and things like that. But again, that's not the vast majority of working people. Anyway, I hope that sort of helps. I hope some of this sort of clears up, and I know like it doesn't look like it's targeted towards the bush, and it realistically it isn't really doing much favors to the bush, but it's more so it sort of is in a weird way. Anyway, I hope that sort of works out, and I hope this sort of helped out. Apologies, by the way, this is just my first video and a bit nervous, but I hope that sort of works out. I hope that can provide a different perspective of things. Bye.